This is an interesting one. We've got the Amish, Pennsylvania Amish building a dozen tiny homes at about 25 grand a piece in 2 days. Then we've got Governor Gavin Newsom in California promising 1,200 at $625,000 a piece, and none get built. And that was almost 2 years ago. What do we got going on here? Let's get into it. Here we go. Here's Gavin Newsom's speech, March of 2023, almost 2 years ago.
And so what we are doing is we're deploying these 1,200 plus units. You can see these units are not just in every case for one individual, multiple individuals in these units. We're hoping to get them constructed in a matter of months, not years. I wanted to say the summer. My staff said press will attack us if we fall short. So we were saying the fall.
Here's somebody actually working on the homes.
Luke Henry has done construction for many years. In college, he and a classmate started their own construction company.
My father was also in construction. We were looking for a way to pay our way through classes. So we started building decks up on Beach Mountain, Banner Elk area.
And now, years later, it's still his passion.
Just gave me a great opportunity to really give back to the community that I love living in and that has given me so much.
What he's talking about is the 12 tiny homes located in the parking lot of Cornerstone Summit Baptist Church. Henry says when he saw the homes being built, he had to come by and find out who was doing it.
I was talking to Aaron, was the name of the Amish gentleman leading the crew that was here. And Aaron explained to me, that they are here to build these temporary housing units for people displaced by Hurricane Helene. However, they had to leave at the end of the day.
He says there were about 50 men building 12 homes in 2 days, and they got them about 90% done.
They actually erected everything from the outside in. They built these foundations. They, framed out the walls, framed out the roofs, insulated everything, ran the electrical.
Henry says it all started with a man who came to the area from Pennsylvania and saw the damage. That man went to his local Amish community and asked for help. He then raised the money to get them here and build the sheds.
Found a local shed company to modify the plans to make these sheds habitable, bring them up to local code with insulation, outlets, light fixtures.
Now Henry is working hard to finish the shelters to get them ready for families.
Will come fully furnished with beds and propane heaters.
And Senior Pastor Reggie Hunt says they aren't done yet.
The phone has been ringing hot because people have been driving by and seeing that these were being built.
So they plan to build more.
This crew's going to come back from Pennsylvania in January and make more.
To try to get as many out as possible. These 12 will be going to areas where people are still in tents.
Pensacola, Burnsville, Elk Park.
Because he says people in the high country deserve to get out of the cold and indoor as the weather keeps setting in.
The Amish builders are everything amazing. I mean, they were teenagers and older men that they had a system that I've never seen before that was able to build this.
And last but not least, we've got Eli Yoder coming in with why the Amish were told to stop building the tiny homes in North Carolina. Here we go.
So many of you guys were asking me why the Amish were told to stop building those tiny homes in North Carolina for those that were in need. I don't have all the answers, but I was assuming that they were not up to code because the Amish, when I was growing up, we build stuff that were not necessarily following the codes and the laws that were in that township or county. But I did hear back from some North Carolina people that said this. They are called sheds, this person says, because North Carolina law is that you cannot have tiny homes here, but you can have a shed. I found that very interesting, but I'm still researching and reaching out to people to try to find out why did the government tell the Amish to stop helping those people and not build those tiny homes any longer.
So I think that storyline goes to another community, I believe, and maybe it's this community here as well. But some of what I came up with research wise is, it was because, a shed is one thing, but a tiny home that people are going to live in needs to be up to code so people don't die from fire, that kind of thing. building just collapsing on itself. But from my standpoint, if people are living in tents through the winter in an area where it gets pretty darn cold. All right. So let's get the tiny homes up to code, and then we'll just keep on it going. In March of 2023, Gavin Newsom promised to deliver 1,200 tiny homes at a cost of $625,000 a piece per. Now, whenever you hear this, don't you just think, gee, what are they making that out of? And the big thing is it's the bureaucratic infrastructure that needs to get paid out before anything takes place. And that is where the Amish just basically undercut all of that. They got 300 grand donated. They went to a shed company. I mean, these are sheds like you can see at Home Depot. These are not that different. You know, same concept. They're a shed. They're making them livable, meaning they are insulating them out. They've got full drywall on the inside. They've got carpeting, full finish. I do not believe they have any plumbing facilities. I don't know that for a fact, but I didn't see any plumbing rough-in when those homes are being framed up. And most of the tiny homes that I've seen in Seattle, they're much, much smaller than these tiny homes. I am guessing you're going to be able to they're going to have some interior walls, some partitions, some doors. They're going to have 2 or 3 rooms in there at least, I would guess, but probably no kitchen facility and no bathroom. That'll be in a communal area. That's how the ones here in Seattle, Washington work. So the $625,000, that just goes to bureaucratic bloat, to just basically waste. It's, all these committees, all these governing entities, just basically jerking each other off. I mean, let's be honest. That's essentially what you've got going on. Hey, you need a permit for, you need this. Oh, we need this. Just a bunch of nonsense. And you can see that that's the deal because to date, not a single tiny home has been delivered. Now, the video that we saw was Gruesome Newsom talking about fall of 2023. Well, we're going to be lucky to see any of those built by fall of 2025. Dos años, right? By comparison, the Amish just built 12 tiny homes in less than 48 hours, 25 grand a pop. I mean, that's incredible. Even if they go full finish out, it's 30 grand, whatever, right? That's what it should cost. That is literally what it should cost. But you've got this homeless industrial complex that's got to get its fingers in there, that's got to take its piece of the pie. And that pie is mostly all the bureaucratic bloat. It just is. Because there's no way you're going to build one of these things for $625,000. It just doesn't cost that much. It's like having a bathroom facility that costs $1.6 million. We've covered that as well. Now, those bathrooms, you got some stainless steel components in there, and you got some bulletproof stuff because you are literally, constructing that to be bomb-proof because homeless people that are whacked out on drugs tend to do stuff like that. Hey, what can we put in the toilet and flush it down, and we'll just see what happens, right? As the tweet's author, Kevin Dalton, writes, Gavin Newsom announced a tiny home project in months, not years. Well, that's the beauty of YouTube. That's the beauty of having video, isn't it? Is that that didn't age all that well. But as you also read, not a single home has actually been built. That's California. That's California for you. Just massive overbloat of everything, right? High property taxes, high gas, everything's high. Utilities are high. Man, what about those wildfires in California? I mean, that's some scary stuff there. Hope everybody stays safe that's, involved with that. I know there's a ton of smoke and just some of the devastation is crazy. It's interesting when celebrities' homes go down because that gets all the focus, right? I mean, that's dangerous stuff. Don't want to see that for anybody. But there's also this thing where maybe there's some preventative things we can actually do for some of these wildfires that are taking place. I don't know. I'm no ecologist, but you just keep hearing those rumblings. How about clearing out the forest every now and then, getting out that dead wood, right? In May of this year, which was over a year past the initial announcement, we received an update. March 2023, Gavin Gruesome Newsom told a crowded thing that California Guard would deliver 1,200 tiny homes to 4 jurisdictions. I think I even covered that back in the day. Sacramento is going to get 350, LA 500, San Jose 200, San Diego 150. Then, I love this, crickets. We got nothing. Those tiny homes. I don't know. Maybe the Amish got them all. I don't know. In October, the city announced that it identified a site for half of the tiny homes in Sacramento. Guys, things are looking good. They're looking up. It's positive. We got a positive spin here. We have identified a site.
Would you mind?
Yeah, that's what California's doing. And meanwhile, the Amish from Pennsylvania, building for North Carolina folks in need, get 12 done in 2 days. 90% done. Can't say all the way done. But that's what the one kid was working on. No, those things are pretty close for their intended purpose, which is a roof insulated structure, windows, roof enclosed, heated. Notice they did say propane. Those are living quarters. That is living quarters. And empty. So they've identified a spot in California. Things are looking up. We've got an empty lot next to a never occupied strip mall. That sounds great. On Stockton Boulevard in South Sacramento. Construction crews broke ground on the Sacramento location in March of 2024. And the homes were then projected to be completed as of the fall of 2024. We're getting there. 6.25 a pop. But today is the first day of 2025. This was written just a few days ago. Like Dalton said, not a single home has been delivered. Where did all the money go? Back into the bureaucratic and political ether, I'm sure. Now compare that to the image on the right. We got the 12 going up for, just a fraction of that cost. In 2 days. It's not that hard. And I've seen the construction of the ones here in Seattle, and they are literally a glorified shed. But what I would say is that, the ones that are being built here are far superior, just size and build and quality. It's just, it's nuts. Now, how did the Amish get it up? They had 50 men that came in 2 days, probably the weekend. They probably came in on a weekend. They spent their weekend and then they had to go back to their homes, to their real jobs. So after, long weekend of just, let's go, what to the walls, let's go to the walls. Let's get her done. And they're going to come back in January of 2025 and make some more. So it sounds like they've got this down. They erected everything from the outside in, framed out the walls, framed out the roof, ran the electric. Okay. That's what they're going to do. So probably no plumbing, no restroom. And that's pretty standard. Henry said it all started with a man who came to the area from Pennsylvania and saw the damage. He's like, hey, we can do something about this. That man went to his local Amish community, asked for help. He raised the money, $300K, get them here and build the sheds. They're tiny homes. These are not sheds, right? These are more than a shed. Found a local shed company to modify the plans to make them compatible with insulation, outlets, light fixtures. So article goes on to say, the government of California is the very definition of a sick joke, because we're talking about 1,200 homes built at $6.25 a pop, or $750 million. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that for on that screen. Let's talk about that for 1 second. $750 million for 1,200 homes, or the Amish could build 30,000 tiny homes if you're talking equivalent. Now, you're probably not going to be able to do that because just the amount of manpower, it's just, probably not, able to put that into action. But those are the numbers. 30,000 tiny homes. Author of the article goes on to say the government of California is the very definition of a sick joke. No, it's, you know what it is? It's just, you've got these governmental entities that need to be funded. And in order to fund all of the folks in this, huge ecosystem, which is the homeless industrial complex, this is the overhead it takes to cover all this. So what's the answer? Do you hire the Amish to solve homelessness? I mean, it's something along those lines, isn't it? Just this notion that it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a little shed is mind-blowing. And you think of that and you're like, what are we doing? I know some of the numbers here in Seattle, they get up 700,000 because we got expensive land, and then we've got, we got to run the utilities to the common area. It's going to cost $500,000 to run that single pipe. Just a bunch of ridiculousness. And it's because these are expensive areas, and they've got codes, and then they've got all these entities, and it's never the physical structure. It's never the physical structure. It's everything else entailed in getting that structure off the ground. And so I thought today's piece here is a really good example of comparing apples to apples. All right? Building it here, building it there, or in this case, not building it there. I mean, are these tiny homes with gruesome Newsom ever going to get built? What's taking so long? Honestly, what is taking so long? Oh, he found the site. Shouldn't you have had the site set up before you announced, hey, we're building 1,200 tiny homes? Doesn't seem like it. It's incompetence, isn't it? It's incompetence and it's waste. And that is what the homeless industrial complex is built on. Period. Hands out. How much money you making as CEO of whatever nonprofit administering the homeless? Like 400,000. 250. 200,000. Meanwhile, we've got Gavin Newsom promising 1,200, not delivering. He's out buying a fancy new $9.1 million Bay Area home. So, can't even get any homes up, but he's out buying $9.1 million. He's been a government employee for quite some time. How does he get the together to make that happen? Hey, Aunt Nancy Pelosi, I need some early inheritance. I don't know. Who knows, right? Who knows? Who knows what the story is there? But the big story here is it can be done. You can build housing, and it's not going to cost that much. But if you put it in context of normal homeless industrial stuff, it's a no-go because all those folks got to get it paid. They got to have their $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 salaries. Everybody's got that handout, right? All right. That's it for today. Thanks so much for being here. Catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.